Hey, this is Joff, and I am responding to a Facebook post that came up about the Dan Clark Audio E3 tensioning on the headband. These are obviously the Dan Clark E3s here. Awesome, really awesome, amazing headphone. And so the user had received a set of, I guess, like a headband adjustment set from DCA, and was asking about, how to basically install them and be able to retension the headband itself or the mechanism itself. I personally don't have a adjustment set that came from DCA, but I just wanted to do this quick video just to take a look at where they would go and how I would install them if I had them. And I just wanted to take a look for you, or for anyone in the future watching this. So this user's adjustment set came with some washers, 2 grub screws, which is basically a machine screw that's headless, doesn't have a head on it. Grub screws, washers, and an Allen key. So looking at the headband itself, the only areas where I would see using those grub screws and the Allen key would be here, on the arms of the adjustment mechanism, kind of this frame. And it would be one here, kind of coming along here, and the other one down below, I believe, without taking it apart. And it looks like both of these are Allen key screws. There's one, and the silver one here is 2 Allen keys. So I'm assuming the way it would work is, you take out the Allen keys, remove the grub screws, and you can put the new ones in. The issue with that is I think what happened is maybe there's miscommunication, or maybe that user's headband was just too tight out of the factory. They didn't describe exactly what their issue specifically was, but I think what happened is that DCA basically just sent him replacement screws and that they weren't specifically to reduce the ear pad or the clamping pressure of the headphones themselves. And that is something that I've heard from other users, getting into the E3s, is that they just have like just a little bit of too much clamping force. But I was able to adjust mine, how I like it, and take away some of that clamp force. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to talk about the material they're using for their headband system. So on a more traditional headphone, like here I have the ZMF bokeh opens. These also came in very tight for me. Lots of clamping pressure, and the crown of where your head would be was too square. It was too kind of low, and it's too square for my cranium. So, like you would traditionally do, you can grab the headband, which on the ZMF is your traditional spring steel which is very nice because that means you can adjust it how you want. Once you get it adjusted, it stays. And you can fine tune it further. So I like that. I like having a just a standard steel headband because I can fine tune it. I can adjust it and get it to the clamp force that is comfortable for me. On something like the E3s, these are a little bit more different. These use what's called nitinol wires. Nitinol is a special alloy. It's used in engineering and military applications and orthodontics and braces. It's a metal that can be formed to a certain shape using a certain temperature during manufacturing, and the finished product, it allows the finished product to basically hold its shape. It does not have a memory to it, unlike just regular steel. You can bend steel and it will stay, and it will have that memory to it, or I guess would it be memory or not memory. In any case, with nitinol, if you were to bend it, it's designed, it's manufactured so that it returns to its originally formed shape. With the case of the E3s, initially I thought I wouldn't be able to adjust these. But messing with it more, one day I just got tired of the clamp force, and I just started messing with it, and I found out that yes, you can adjust them, and they will kind of stay. They will have a little bit of memory to them and keep the shape that you bend them into or form them to, which leads me to believe that the nitinol that they're using is maybe not 100% nitinol. It might be an alloy of another material. Maybe the percentage of the nitinol itself is lower. But that's a good thing, because basically I was able to take these two headband wires, and I brought them together like so, kind of just in my hands, and just bend the ear cups apart. You can, bend them at the sides, at the corners here. I did it very, a little bit more extreme than what I'm showing on camera, just to keep everything in the frame. But you can really work them out. And for the most part, because it's nitinol, most of it will come back. That's just a result of the manufacturing. But at the end of it, I was able to reduce the clamping force just by doing that, and it stayed. Most of it stayed, and I don't know if you can tell, but you might be able to see that on my headband wires here, they aren't they're kind of skewed. They're not perfectly symmetrical anymore, but that's more of an aesthetic thing, and it hasn't really been bothering me too much. It's just a little bit, if I wanted to, I could nitpick and get it kind of a little bit more pleasing in that area where there's a little bit of a dip there. But in general, I was able to kind of work around it and kind of get it formed and relieve a lot of that clamp pressure from how it was stock. And so I didn't have to unscrew anything or undo anything. I just kind of messed with it the way I would do on a traditional steel headband. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you've got an E3 yourself, give it a try. It's very, even with what I did, it still holds a lot of its shape. So you don't have to worry about, damaging it too much. The wire itself is very durable, it's very strong. And even with all the bending that I did, it only, you know, I have one little dimple here where, and even that, I could go back and fix that if I wanted to. I think it's worth looking at to get a fit that is more to your liking. The other thing I was thinking about, if you didn't want to mess with the arms on the mechanism, is the E3 uses a plastic, like an inner plastic, that holds the headband pad. That's the plastic right there. And that's going to add some clamping pressure also, because obviously plastic only has so much give, and once it gets to, its extreme, it's going to want to come back and kind of resist being pulled apart, obviously being plastic. So one thing I was thinking about, if you didn't want to mess with the arms or this mechanism here, is the kind of the head pad area. Now these use a different set screw. These are Torx screws. They are slightly different than Allen key screws. These are the 6-pointed star shape. Let me see if I can come in a little bit. There. So it's not exactly a Allen key. I believe it's a Torx screw, yeah. You can clearly see like well-defined points on there. 6 points. Now I have a set of like security screws and gunsmithing, not screws, screwdrivers. But it's in my car. I'm not gonna go out just to mess with it. But that is one thing I was thinking about is, I really think if somebody wanted to, they could take these screws off and just completely replace this plastic, this plastic here that's holding the headband pad. Remove that inner plastic, replace it with leather, replace it with an elastic fabric, or even a cloth, like a heavy-duty nylon cloth. Nylon is very durable. And if they wanted, they could even completely remove the nitinol wires and replace it with, just traditional like steel cabling. If they wanted to, just get some steel cabling the same gauge, spray painted black, and reinstall them into here. That may be an option. You could even, completely, it looks like you'd be able to even kind of cut these off completely, just have the one headband design. And you could even use, if you went single headband, you would be able to use the ZMF Copilot pad on there. But those were the options I was thinking of. And like I said, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe the replacement screws, or the screws that got sent to the user on Facebook, are just replacements for the arm folding mechanism. I don't think that they would, I don't see how they would, really impact the clamping pressure here. If it does, that's great. Report back to us, because that would be good to know. But I just wanted to share that. Hopefully, people out there with an E3 are able to, kind of look at different options on how they're able to adjust their clamping, the clamp force on these. But that's what I did. I hope that helps. And let us know how those screws that you get, or the adjustment kit that you got from DCA, if those do anything as far as the clamp pressure, because I think that would be really nice to know from the rest of the community. All right, that's all I got. Thanks.